Right now, as you're watching this video, something very strange is happening in the silver market. Not tomorrow, not next year, but today. Prices look calm on the surface, charts look boring, headlines barely mention it, and that's exactly why this moment matters. Because historically, whenever silver becomes boring, it means something big is being prepared behind the scenes. And here's the uncomfortable truth most people never hear. The silver price you see today is not the real price of silver. It's a controlled price, a managed price, and banks are quietly hoping you never question it. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll understand why silver has been suppressed for decades, why that suppression is cracking, and why the next move could shock almost everyone who ignored it. Before we go any further, do me a quick favor. If you like deep financial stories that explain what's really happening behind the headlines, hit the like button and subscribe right now. It helps this channel grow, and it tells the algorithm to show you more content like this. This is The Hidden Guy, and on this channel we talk about the things most people aren't supposed to notice. Now let's talk about silver, not the jewelry, not the coins you see in old movies. I'm talking about silver as a strategic metal. Silver is money. It has been money for thousands of years. Long before paper currency, long before central banks, silver and gold were the foundation of trade. And unlike gold, silver isn't just stored in vaults. It's consumed. It disappears. It gets used in electronics, solar panels, medical equipment, electric vehicles, military technology, and hundreds of industrial applications. Once silver is used, most of it is never recovered. It's gone forever. Here's where the first secret starts. There is far less silver available today than most people think. Official numbers tell you there are billions of ounces above ground, but those numbers mix investment silver with industrial silver, scrap silver, and silver that is technically unrecoverable. When you strip away the unusable metal, the amount of silver that can actually meet investment demand is shockingly small. And yet, paper markets trade hundreds of times more silver than physically exists. Let that sink in. For every real ounce of silver, there are dozens, sometimes hundreds of paper claims, futures contracts, options, ETFs, derivatives. These are promises, not metal. If even a small percentage of investors asked for physical delivery, the system would break instantly. And banks know this. The silver market is one of the most heavily manipulated markets in history. This isn't a conspiracy theory. Banks have been fined billions of dollars for manipulating precious metals prices. Traders have gone to jail. Court documents exist. But here was what most people don't understand. Those fines were tiny compared to the profits earned by keeping silver prices low. Why would banks want silver to stay cheap? Because silver is a competitor to fiat currency. When silver rises sharply, it sends a signal that paper money is losing value. Central banks don't want that message spreading. Governments don't want citizens questioning inflation. And big financial institutions don't want people leaving paper assets for real ones. So silver is kept under control using paper contracts. When price starts to rise, massive sell orders appear out of nowhere. Not real silver, just paper. The price gets pushed down, sentiment turns negative, and retail investors lose interest. This cycle has repeated for decades, but something changed in the last few years. Industrial demand for silver is exploding. Solar energy alone is consuming more silver every year than ever before. Electric vehicles use multiple times more silver than traditional cars. Data centers, AI infrastructure, and military tech are all silver intensive. At the same time, silver mining supply is struggling. Ore grades are declining. New mines take years to develop. And many silver mines are actually byproducts of other metals, meaning supply can't easily respond to higher prices. This creates a problem. Demand is rising, supply is tight, and yet the price doesn't reflect it. That gap is the pressure building inside the system. Now here's the part banks really don't want you to think about. If silver were priced honestly based on supply and demand, it wouldn't be anywhere near where it is today. Historically, silver traded at around 15 to 20 ounces per ounce of gold. Today, that ratio is wildly distorted. Silver is cheap relative to gold, cheap relative to inflation, and cheap relative to its industrial importance. This distortion only exists because the market is paper-driven, not physical-driven. But paper markets only work as long as people trust them, and trust is fading. More investors are demanding physical delivery. More countries are questioning dollar-based systems. More people are noticing that inflation numbers don't match real-world prices. Every time there's a financial crisis, silver demand spikes. Every time confidence drops, silver disappears from shelves. We saw this during previous crises when dealers ran out of silver while spot prices stayed low. That disconnect tells you everything you need to know. The real market isn't the screen price, it's availability. Think about this. If silver was truly abundant, there would never be shortages. Premiums would never spike, but they do, again and again. That's not coincidence, that's stress. Banks rely on the idea that most investors will never ask questions, that they'll trade ETFs, glance at charts, and move on. But the moment people realize the difference between owning silver and owning a promise of silver, the game changes. This is why silver scares the system more than gold. Gold sits quietly in vaults. Silver moves through the economy. Silver reveals cracks faster. Now, I want to be very clear here. This is not financial advice. This is education. The goal of this video is to help you understand the structure of the market, not to tell you what to buy or sell. Everyone's situation is different. But history teaches us something important. When manipulation ends, it doesn't end slowly. It ends violently. Price resets happen fast. And when they happen, most people are positioned wrong. That's why silver moves are usually explosive and short-lived. By the time mainstream media talks about it, the biggest gains are often already gone. And this is why banks don't want widespread awareness, because once enough people understand the silver market, control becomes harder. Ask yourself this: why does silver, a metal essential to modern technology, trade cheaper today than it did decades ago in real terms? Why do shortages happen during high demand periods if supply is supposedly plentiful? Why do massive sell orders appear during thin trading hours? None of this makes sense unless you understand the structure behind it. The silver market isn't broken, it's designed. But no system lasts forever. Every manipulated market eventually faces reality. Paper promises collide with physical limits. And when that happens, price becomes discovery, not control. This channel, The Hidden Guy, exists to help you see these patterns before they become obvious. Because once something is obvious, it's usually too late to benefit from understanding it early. As we move forward into a world with higher debt, higher inflation, energy transitions, and geopolitical tension, silver becomes more important, not less. And the pressure on this market is building quietly. So here's my question for you. Do you think silver is truly cheap, or do you think it's being held down on purpose? Let me know in the comments. I read every single one, and your perspective matters. If you found value in this breakdown, share this video with someone who still thinks silver is just an old metal with no future. And if you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed, because the next videos on this channel are going to connect even more dots that most people miss. This isn't about fear, it's about awareness. And once you see how the silver market really works, you can't unsee it. Stay curious, stay sharp, and I'll see you in the next one.